new tonight on ABC.
All sharks are still in. David has one offer on the table from Mark, $200,000 for 25% of his stain repellent, Detrapel. But Lori also seems interested.
What do you want to do?
No. Wait. I will give you an offer for $200,000, also for 25%. Again, I want to make sure that all of your testing, all of that shakes out.
Would you consider partnering together?
I don't know. What's your ultimate goal?
The ultimate goal is to extend to an actual chemical company that does an array of cleaning lines, or maybe not even cleaning, but really protectant line.
So what is the one thing that you think sets you apart, that you came up with, that is your golden ticket?
All of our products are on a nano level. Most companies only focus on one thing.
By the way, I'm going to throw in as well. I'll give you $200,000 for 25%.
Okay.
So back
Thank
to my
you
question.
for your offers.
Back to my question. What expertise do you need to get where you want to go?
I really need help on the business side of it, not necessarily on the chemical side. I think we can figure that part out of it.
You want brand building, distribution,
That's why
route
I'm
to
here.
market.
I need the right people to work with me.
All right, if that's what you need, then I would go in with Lori. Right? Because if it's the business side, we both can complement each other. Plus, I've got some really strong investments in the nano side.
Well, David, look, mano schmano, I don't care. You figure it out. You're a 19-year-old dynamo, my friend. This is incredible.
I appreciate it.
I would love to be in with you, and I would love to have my friend Rohan go in with me if he's open to it. I was thinking $200,000 for 23%. just a little sweeter. Just a little bit better than the other sharks. Rohan?
I'm in. Robert's highly successful. He knows technology, has built stuff. I know how to build brands. You know, there's big major companies out there looking for innovation like this. They come to me to help go find the innovation. Robert brings a skill set that I don't have. Together, it's a dynamic duo.
Mark and I have decided that we will go in together. I am very fast to market. And what I do is infomercials, TV, and retail.
Because none of us have ever done an infomercial.
Well, I'm not going to comment on what anybody else does. I only know what I can do. And I think that you do need to move fast. You do need to blitz the market. I think that Mark and I can do that for you.
I don't think necessarily I'm your best partner in this. I think Lori and Mark are an unbeatable combination, and you should grab the money and run. I'm out, but go with these two.
Thank you.
Lori and I are offering you $200,000 for 25%. Rohan and Robert made some crazy, ridiculous offer that's irrelevant, but it turned out to be $200,000.
Because we've never built brands on our end.
23%.
We don't know how to make mega
What would you like
brands.
to do?
All right.
David, there's something that Rohan and I have that, with all due respect to Lori and Mark, they don't have. We're immigrants to this country, and we came here with nothing. If anybody here understands hard work, I think that we can help you get to where you want to go. We understand that hunger.
Robert.
I like that, Robert.
Yeah, but...
Time to decide, David.
Mark and Lori, I think you got a deal.
Let's do this.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate your offers.
Congratulations, David. This is going to be fun.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
This is very cool.
Congrats, man. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Lori knows all about branding, all about products, and we are a product-based business, and Mark has the online side covered. He's in the nano space. It's just the perfect win-win situation.
What was the immigrant card, Robert? The immigrant card.
Talk about a Hail Mary.
I'll be the first one. I was with you.
It was like...
Dax Shepard on a new Kimmel later tonight.
Let's get this show started.
Thank you guys so much.
Celebrate the year's greatest moments in sports with the most unforgettable plays, the biggest upsets, and the moments that inspire. Who will reign supreme?
And the ESPY goes to...
Danica Patrick hosts the ESPYs, live next Wednesday on
Dangerous driving on Interstate 10.
Flooding outside an apartment complex.
Drivers stuck in the water.
We're bringing you First Alert Storm Team coverage on a downpour in the desert.
You're watching KESQ, the desert's news leader. This is News Channel 3 at 11.
Good evening, I'm Karen Devine.
And I'm John White. Downpour in the desert. This is video shared by a viewer of rain coming down tonight in Palm Springs. You can see just how intense it was. The weather now improving out there tonight, but we're dealing with the aftermath with at least one road closure, Cathedral Canyon at the Wash, with localized street flooding elsewhere.
And we are bringing you live team coverage tonight across the valley on the storm that hit just this afternoon. Chief Meteorologist Haley Clausen is standing by, tracking our conditions. Plus, News Channel 3's Jake Ingracia is live in Cathedral City, where heavy flooding came down, closing roads there. We begin with News Channel 3's Lauren Coronado, who's live in Cathedral City. She's actually where dozens of people have been in the dark following a downpour. I think she's actually in Palm Springs. Lauren.
That's right. Right now we're at Cathedral Canyon at the Wash, which is just closed down as of about 20 minutes or so ago. Take a look at all of the water that has rushed onto the road right now. That's all coming from the Wash, and these water levels are continuing to rise. Really fast rushing waters onto the roadway right now that is normally, like you said, very dry. Of course, this is a major problem for motorists as they close the roads just to ensure that motorists make their way using alternate routes safely. One of those alternate routes are Date Palm right now. That is still remains open. Of course, these water levels are expected to continue to rise. Caltrans making that announcement about half an hour ago or less. And you can see right now the water levels are about, I would say, about 4 inches or so. And it only takes 6 inches of water for the water to actually move your car. You see all that dirt as it's rushing down into the other side of the Wash, so it could be a big problem. Luckily, they did close down the area. As of right now, there are no other road closures in the valley, so that's good news. So you can make sure to use those alternate routes. Now we're going to toss it over to Jake Ingracia. I know he has reaction from locals. Jake, what's the latest?
Hey there, Lauren. We actually saw rain coming down so hard today that cars had to pull off to the side of the street there because of that downpour. And take a look behind me. You can see Date Palm Road here recently reopened. It was closed earlier due to that extreme flooding, with flares redirecting traffic around the flooded street. You can see what remains of that flooding now, and those flares now out, and Date Palm Drive reopened in both directions. And although things are clearing up, those downpours catching many in the desert here by surprise.
It's raining. It's totally crazy. I was dreaming of living in a place where it was cooler and it rained. And then it happened here.
Rain coming down hard in downtown Palm Springs, pouring off roofs.
We were walking around trying to take some pictures because we're from out of town, and it just started downpouring, and we basically hid underneath a bus stop. And we waited there for 15 minutes until it would stop.
Water flowing, streets flooding, more than an inch of rain falling in a couple hours, cars facing deep puddles. In Desert Hot Springs, visibility extremely low, strong winds blowing through. Umbrellas at this mobile home park off Highway 111 turned inside out. People outside taking cover.
We ran into my mom's car. Yeah, that's what we did.
And this Starbucks employee closing the drive-through window.
In the window, and it was like perfectly fine. And I opened it like, "Here's your drink, sir," and then just it was insane. Yeah, our drinks are wet and all that, so it's pretty crazy.
Now, I'm sure a lot of people here glad to see that the skies are clearing up outside. The rain has obviously stopped. The puddles behind me shrinking down. And again, Date Palm Drive here, which was previously closed due to that flooding, now reopened. Reporting live in Cathedral City, Jake Ingracia.
Okay, thank you, Jake. Of course, no surprises with these storms this week. Not for people who have been tuned in to their First Alert forecast. First Alert Chief Meteorologist Haley Clausen is tracking our conditions. Haley, you've been talking about the chance for these pop-up storms this week for at least a week.
That's right. We've been dealing with a lot of monsoonal moisture all across the desert Southwest. This is what we expect this time of year. And when we have the right ingredients, meaning a lot of moisture and a lot of heat, well, those two combined can allow these storms to develop, or like you said, pop up. Now, we were tracking them all throughout this afternoon across the high desert until they made their way into the Coachella Valley. But at this hour, no more storms. Even no more showers right here overhead. Our skies have cleared. The airport reporting clear conditions as well. Just watching this little shower right here east of the Coachella Valley, really east of Bombay Beach as well. So our skies are nice and clear, but what's going to be happening as we head into tomorrow is still another opportunity for some storms to develop, because we are still dealing with that monsoonal flow arriving from the east and streaming into Southern California. So for our Thursday, isolated storm chances will remain intact. This is predominantly for our local mountains, but again, those storms do move. We're talking about our afternoon highs in the triple digits and our dew point temperatures 60s near 70 at time. Karen.
I'll go ahead and take it, but thank you, Haley. There you go. You can get constant weather information anytime with our First Alert weather app. It's available for free. Just search KESQ First Alert in the Apple Store or Google Play.
Well, now it's my turn. Some people are enjoying the rain. Check out this video shared with us. You can see a few kids in Yucca Valley enjoying the puddles, and that rain's moving kind of quickly there. Check out this man in Desert Springs getting splashed by a car, and of course, he knew it was coming. There was no surprise there either. Download our KESQ mobile app right now. Become a part of the News Channel 3 breaking news experience. You can take video like that guy did and pictures through our app that instantly come into our newsroom. You can download it for free anytime in your app store.
One of the best videos of the day. We've had a lot of great video today. 5 caregivers in the Coachella Valley were recently arrested in connection with the deaths of senior citizens tonight. We're making sure you know how to search for trustworthy care. Caregivers are required to undergo a fingerprint background check and specific training. Some caregiving agencies here in the Valley require experience at another licensed facility, like a skilled nursing home or hospital, and also a psychological test.
Things like compassion and empathy, patience, a lack of ego, and things like that, because we feel that a really good caregiver, it comes from the heart. If you hire somebody from an agency, you're protected from some of these risks.
Okay, and so we're coming from the restroom.
If you aren't hiring a caregiver from a licensed agency, experts say there are ways to make sure you'll still get credible care. We have more information on finding a reliable caregiver online right now at KESQ.com.
Well, nearly 5 years after the mountain fire.
Next on News Channel 3, how people are still recovering from that major fire that started in Mountain Center.
And we are tracking your weather conditions tonight across the valley. This is video from earlier in Cathedral City. Cars continuing to drive through flooded areas on the roadway there. Remember, turn around, don't drown. You're watching KESQ, the Desert's news leader. Nearly 5 years ago, the Coachella Valley was covered in a blanket of ash, the largest local wildfire in years, sparked by electrical equipment in the San Jacinto Mountains. And nearly 6,000 residents of the Idlewild and Fern Valley areas were ordered to evacuate, the flames consuming nearly 30,000 acres and destroying 23 structures. The town of Idlewild was spared. Residents recall how they stayed positive.
The feeling of optimism of going, we're going to get through this and our families will come home. None of us owned the darkest side of fire. I will say that. You have the angst. To say you don't have angst, you wouldn't be truthful.
And there's other less obvious scars that live on as well in the form of PTSD for some locals. The assistant fire chief says they get hundreds of phone calls for the smallest of fires as a result of the mountain fire. Now, tomorrow night, I take a closer look at communication efforts between fire agencies the day the mountain fire erupted. Why was the second closest fire department located in Idlewild not called to the fire in the first 20 minutes? Would that have changed anything? You'll hear what Idlewild's fire chief has to say about it tomorrow night at 6.
A man who fired on 3 people in a car-to-car shooting in Palm Springs 2 years ago will spend more than a decade in prison. 20-year-old Nysoni Edwards Randolph of Cathedral City pleaded guilty today in the shooting. No one was hit by the gunfire near Via Escuela and Volturno Road. Cathedral City police later spotted him and say he tossed the gun from the car during a short pursuit. Randolph was eventually stopped in Cathedral City and arrested.
Well, President Trump attacks another nation's ties to Russia at a meeting with NATO.
Germany, as far as I'm concerned, is captive to Russia. So we're supposed to protect Germany, but they're getting their energy from Russia. Explain that. And it can't be explained. You know that.
Next on News Channel 3, why he claims Germany is being controlled now by Russia.
Our skies have cleared all across the Coachella Valley, but the chance for a storm still continues into our Thursday. I'm tracking those chances. Coming up next, you're watching KESQ, the desert's news leader.
President Trump is in Europe on the attack against Germany and other NATO countries, demanding they pay more. Serena Marshall has the latest on the standoff.
President Trump with a new demand of our NATO allies, telling them they should double their investment in their own defense, from 2% up to 4%, a mark even the U.S. isn't meeting.
But Germany, as far as I'm concerned, is captive to Russia. So we're supposed to protect Germany, but they're getting their energy from Russia. Explain that. And it can't be explained, you know that.
The president slamming Germany's $12 billion gas pipeline deal with Russia. NATO's Secretary General playing peacekeeper.
How can you be together when a country is getting its energy from the person you want protection against or from the group that you want protection?
Because we understand that when we stand together also when dealing with Russia, we are stronger.
German Chancellor Angela Merkel not engaging on the accusation. Only reminding everyone she did grow up in communist East Germany under Soviet domination, and that a united Germany controls its own destiny. But when President Trump came face to face with Merkel, he took a different approach from his fiery rhetoric used earlier.
We have a very, very good relationship with the Chancellor. We have a tremendous relationship with Germany.
The peace only lasting through that meeting. On Twitter, another attack pointed at Germany as well as NATO. What good is NATO if Germany is paying Russia billions of dollars for gas and energy? The U.S. is paying for Europe's protection. By the end of Wednesday's meetings, a communique from NATO members with plans for higher defense spending, citing Russian aggression as the concern. Serena Marshall, ABC News, Washington.
Porn star Stormy Daniels, who has been at the center of political controversy involving President Donald Trump, was arrested during a strip club performance in Ohio. Daniels' attorney Michael Avenatti says his client was arrested for allegedly allowing a customer to touch her while on stage in a non-sexual manner. He said her act was the same. She has performed nearly 100 at 100 strip clubs across the nation. She was appearing at a club called Sirens. Avenatti called the arrest politically motivated. This was a setup and politically motivated, he said. It reeks of desperation. We will fight all bogus charges.
More than 100 people gathered at the airport in Burns, Oregon for the return of father and son cattle ranchers pardoned by President Trump. Dwight and Stephen Hammond stepped off a chartered jet in a celebratory homecoming this afternoon. Comes a day after the president issued a pardon and they were released from federal prison. The father-son duo were convicted in 2012 of committing arson on federal lands in Oregon. The Hammonds said they started a fire on their property in 2001 to protect it from wildfires and reduce the growth of invasive plants, but it got out of hand. Their dispute with federal authorities over federal land usage sparked the takeover of a wildlife refuge in Oregon and a 41-day standoff. While serving their time in a California federal prison, the father and son said they went into survival mode, and they thanked supporters for the thousands of letters.
We received thousands of letters.
We love you guys.
There's a time when you get to that point, a letter means a lot.
The White House says of their 5-year sentences, Dwight Hammond served about 3 years in prison and his son Stephen served 4 years.
Now, First Alert Weather with Chief Meteorologist Haley Clausen.
This afternoon, Palm Springs recorded a high of 105. Now, that wasn't the big story for today by any means. It was all about the rain and the flooding, except our temperatures still played a role in why we dealt with those storms today. So today's high temperature, again, coming in at 105, and then we've been talking about monsoonal moisture across the desert Southwest since last week. We've really been feeling the humidity throughout this week, and it's even going to be with us for tomorrow. Now, what happened is we have this moisture, we have these very warm temperatures. That combination is allowing those storms to fire up. And so that's what happened earlier on this afternoon. Storms fired up right along the border, worked their way towards the west ever so slowly, and brought a lot of lightning and at times very heavy rainfall all across the high desert, from Desert Center extending up into 29 Palms. Well, that's kind of where they stalled out just a little bit, hanging tight right in the high desert. And then right after 6:30, that's when we began to see one storm cell near Yucca Valley work its way right over the Little San Bernardinos and into Desert Hot Springs. It wasn't until that cell worked its way further down into Palm Springs that it really dumped all of the rain it had. And for Palm Springs, we're talking over an inch of rain in just over an hour time period. Those storms began to work its way down the local mountains and even bring some heavy rainfall to the La Quinta thermal area. But now, clear skies, just a few little showers up in the higher elevations, but down here we're still feeling the humidity with those dew point temperatures in the 70s. We're going to keep that going into tomorrow as well. So for the past 24 hours, Thomas Mountain just towards our west, over 2.5 inches of rain in the past 24 hours. Again, Palm Springs over an inch of rain, and in Desert Hot Springs, just over 1/10 of an inch of rain. That's where the storm came through at, but the heaviest rain was just further towards the west once it reached the valley floor. Always a good reminder, turn around, don't drown. It takes just 6 inches of water to reach the door of most cars, and that's going to make problems steering and also potentially stall your car. Add another 6 inches and, well, your vehicle can easily float. So moving ahead into our Thursday, know that the isolated chance for those storms to develop still exists, mainly around our local mountains, but those storms move, and so even across the high desert, we'll be paying attention for that for your Thursday as well as for your Friday. But these are going to be becoming more and more isolated, not as scattered as what we saw today. For your 7-day forecast, those temperatures will be there. We're keeping the humidity, though, for Friday and even into Saturday, but more and more sunshine will be seen all across our local desert. John, Karen?
Okay.
That sounds good.
Looking forward to more sunshine.
Yeah. Thank you, Haley. The American Red Cross is calling for blood donations.
Next on News Channel 3, why they say there is a shortage of blood. You're watching KESQ, the Desert's news leader.
The American Red Cross is issuing an urgent call for eligible donors of all blood types to help save lives. They say the nation right now is in an emergency blood shortage. The shortage follows a difficult 4th of July week for blood donations. Blood is currently being distributed to hospitals faster than donations are coming in. The need is especially critical for type O blood donors. The Red Cross has added over 6,000 additional appointment slots at donation centers and community blood drives across the country over the next few weeks.
The Esperanza fire was a large arson-caused wildfire that started in October of 2006 in a river wash near Cabazon. It burned more than 41,000 acres, and more importantly, it took the lives of firefighters. Today, Santa Barbara County firefighters recently paid their respects and placed a new flag at the memorial to the Esperanza 5 at the place where they lost their lives, sharing photos with us. Now, the Esperanza 5 were overwhelmed by the fire when the winds shifted and blew towards them near Cabazon. In 2009, Raymond Lee Euler was sentenced to death for starting that fire. Remember that one. Sports is up next tonight at 11. No tarps were needed for the Dodgers, Padres, and Angels like they were for the Power. Highlights are ahead.
Plus a wild Wednesday at Wimbledon and the World Cup. Blake will have it all coming up for the best local sports show. You're watching KESQ, the Desert's news leader.
This is the best local sports show with sports director Blake Arthur.
Here at home, the Palm Springs Power were rained out. The weather, of course, the big story today, as Haley and the rest of our news team has covered extensively. Weather was not an issue in Anaheim or San Diego, however, with both big league games being played as scheduled. Dodgers, Padres, Petco Park. That's Carlos Suaje with an RBI. That made it 1-0 Friars in front. Matt Kemp, he's been hotter than a fox in a forest fire for the Dodgers this year. A 2-out RBI. We got a 1-1 ball game. There is Kike Hernandez scores. And then later in the inning, Logan Forsythe back up the box. Tough play for the Padres. Freddie Galvis can't hang on, so that made it 2-1 as Kemp scores. Same inning, Cody Bellinger grounds the short. Galvis having some troubles. Low throw. Eric Hosmer can't scoop it. 3-run third inning for the Dodgers as they defeat the Padres 4-2. The final series finale is tomorrow night. Angels looking to build on their win last night against the Mariners, but Seattle is having some kind of season. They jump out in front with a solo shot right here, the first of the year for Freitas, and then they add a couple in the fourth. Seattle had more runs in this game than the Angels had hits. Just 2 hits for the Halos, Simmons and Trout each with 1. Angels get shut out by Seattle 3-0. Series finale tomorrow night. Tyler Skaggs going for the Angels, going up against the Mariners ace, James Paxton. Time for tennis. All 4 gentlemen's quarterfinal matches at Wimbledon were on Wednesday, and they were wild. Top seed, 8-time champion Roger Federer against the number 8 seeded South African Kevin Anderson. Federer took the first 2 sets. He seemed control. Looked like he was going to move on to the semis, but Anderson just kept at it. He kept attacking. He came back, win that 3rd set, and he did not stop there. He'd win the 4th, and then he had Uncle Mo on his side, and he won the 5th. Absolutely stunning, the great Roger Federer. The Swiss star was on pace for his 9th Wimbledon championship. He had won 34 straight sets before Anderson won the final 3 in this match. Kevin Anderson, from 2 sets down, he dethrones the reigning champion Roger Federer. Wow. Rafa Nadal and Juan Martín del Potro also went to 5 sets in their quarterfinal match, just a back-and-forth thriller. But the number 2 seeded, number 1 ranked player in the world, Rafa Nadal, would prevail over del Potro, winning the final 2 sets. Rafa's on to the semifinal as he seeks a chance to capture a 3rd Wimbledon crown. John Isner, the American, he's headed to the semifinal as well. He defeated the Canadian Milos Raonic. The 9-seed Isner with a 4-set victory over the 13-seeded Raonic. Isner will take on the aforementioned Anderson in the semifinal, which is Friday. 2 big guys with big serves. That should be fun to watch, and it, of course, will be on the big stage. Last but not least, the Joker. Novak Djokovic moving on after a 4-set win over Kai Nishikori. The Serbian star will take on the Spaniard Nadal in the semis. That's must-watch TV. Get your popcorn ready for that one. Djokovic seeking a chance to win a championship at Wimbledon. His last title came in 2015. From tennis in England to England and Croatia, the World Cup semifinal. This was a great game, and they're bringing it home, or at least they think. What a strike there on the set piece. England up 1-0 less than 5 minutes into the match, but Croatia, they just kept competing. Cross into the box, and it's into the back of the net. Equalizer there in the 67th minute. All the momentum on their side. Tied at 1, we go to extra time. England, they fall asleep at the back. Check this out, and Croatia converts. What a shot. The celebration on for Croatia. They're headed to their first World Cup final. They're going to face France on Sunday, 8 a.m. local time on Fox for the World Cup final. Wow. That's it for sports. News continues after the break. You're watching the Desert's News Leader.
Finally tonight at 11, one man in Morongo Valley was really excited by tonight's downpour. This video was sent to us through our news app showing how much he was enjoying the weather. He loved getting wet there too. A lot of people were enjoying the rain. Stay with News Channel 3 for continuing coverage on rain totals, road closures, on air and online.
He's singing in the rain.
He's not cold at all or anything. He's just enjoying it.
That's some dirty water, though.
A little bit. Well, the rain has subsided over the Coachella Valley. Our skies have cleared, but isolated chances do continue into tomorrow.
Okay, that's going to do it for us tonight at 11 o'clock.
Jimmy Kimmel Live up next. Have a great night.
For a good time.